Excellent third quarter projections, everyone. Harris Industries continues to exceed expectations under my leadership, declared CEO Richard Harris from the large screen during our monthly virtual town hall. My name is Martin Collins, 38, Network Administrator at Harris Industries. I watched our CEO's pixelated face deliver the same empty corporate platitudes he'd been reciting for months. Something seemed off about him lately. The same lighting, the same background, the same blue suit in every video call. That evening, as I packed up for the day, my phone buzzed with a text from Hector, our night janitor. Server room. Now found something weird. I found Hector in the basement server room, visibly shaken. "You need to see this," he said, pointing to a small security camera monitor. The screen showed grainy footage of the executive parking garage, specifically a dust-covered Bentley in CEO parking spot number 1. "That's Mr. Harris's car," I said. "So what?" "I check the camera logs sometimes when I'm bored," Hector explained. "That car hasn't moved in 187 days. Look at the dust pattern." I leaned closer. The thick layer of dust was undisturbed except for small footprints from birds that had been landing on it. "Maybe he's using another car." Hector shook his head. "I checked all executive garage footage for 6 months. He hasn't entered or exited the building. Not once." I felt a chill. Richard Harris, the founder and CEO of our company, famous for his hands-on management and daily office rounds, hadn't physically been in the building for half a year. Yet we'd seen him in weekly video meetings. "There's more," Hector continued. "2 months ago, I was cleaning his private office, the one no one's allowed to enter. I needed to change the air filter and found this." He pulled out his phone and showed me a photo of a small device connected to the CEO's computer. Some kind of external drive with a weird logo. I took a picture because I've never seen hardware like that before. The logo showed a stylized face split in two with digital code flowing between the halves. I recognized it immediately. Deep Realm Technologies, a controversial AI company specializing in realistic digital avatars. "Hector, this is serious. We need to be careful with this information." 2 days later, I stayed late to access the company's financial records. As network admin, I had access to system logs showing who was pulling what files. The board members, especially Chief Financial Officer Michael Winters, had been regularly accessing Harris's personal accounts. Every month, Harris's $300,000 salary was transferred to an offshore account, and then split into 5 equal portions that eventually landed in shell companies tied to our 5 board members. But the most disturbing discovery came when I checked the network traffic logs. The live CEO presentations were actually being streamed from an external server registered to Deep Realm Technologies. Our CEO wasn't just absent, he was being digitally impersonated, likely by the board, who were collecting his massive salary. I needed proof before making accusations. I recruited Angela from legal, the one executive I trusted. Her shocked expression confirmed the gravity of my suspicions. "If this is true, it's not just fraud," she whispered. "Where is the real Richard Harris?" We spent the next week carefully building our case. Angela discovered that Harris's signature on recent contracts didn't match his previous handwriting. The timestamps on his digital approvals showed he was signing documents at 3 a.m., completely out of character for someone known to be in bed by 10 p.m. Then, Hector provided the final piece. Harris's Bentley had a GPS tracker as part of the company's executive security protocol. The car hadn't moved from Harris's vacation home in the Catskill Mountains for exactly 184 days. We decided to drive there on Saturday morning. The lakeside property was isolated, hidden behind tall pines. Harris's Bentley was indeed parked in the driveway, now covered in leaves and pine needles. The house appeared undisturbed but abandoned. After debating the legality and ethics, we decided to enter using the company's emergency key code. The interior was cold and silent. Nothing seemed out of place until we reached the master bedroom. There we found Richard Harris, or what remained of him, in his bed. The local coroner later determined he had died of natural causes, a heart attack in his sleep, approximately 6 months earlier. On his bedside table sat a small voice recorder. When we played it, Harris's voice filled the room. "If you're listening to this, something's happened to me. Michael and the board have been embezzling company funds for years. I've collected evidence on the drive in my office safe. The password is Emma's birthday." Emma was his daughter, who had died of cancer 10 years ago. Angela knew the date. We contacted the FBI that evening. By Monday morning, agents were collecting evidence from Harris's office, including the Deep Realm device Hector had photographed. The morning after the FBI raid, our company-wide email system crashed. When I arrived at the server room to fix it, I found the door ajar. Inside, all the backup drives containing the financial records were missing. The security cameras had been disabled for exactly 32 minutes overnight. Despite the missing evidence, the FBI had enough from Harris's home and our testimonies to continue their investigation. They discovered that the board had been using Deep Realm's advanced AI to create Harris's digital appearances, using previous recordings to synthesize new content. Rather than report his death, they'd seen an opportunity to steal his substantial salary while making company decisions that personally enriched them. 2 weeks later, all 5 board members were arrested during an emergency shareholder meeting, ironically called by the CEO they were impersonating. Their deepfake Harris had been hijacked by the FBI to lure them all into the same room. The scandal made national headlines. Dead CEO continued to run company via deepfake while board embezzled millions. In the aftermath, Harris's long-estranged son returned to take control of the company. His first official act was to promote those who had uncovered the truth. Hector became head of security, Angela was appointed chief legal officer, and I was named chief technology officer. 6 months after our discovery, we unveiled a new company security protocol specifically designed to detect digital manipulation. We named it Project Harris. During the memorial service for Richard Harris, his son approached me. "My father always said no technology can replace human connection." The board failed to understand that watching someone on a screen isn't the same as knowing them. He was right. The board had replicated Harris's image and voice perfectly, but they couldn't replicate the one thing that made him real: his humanity. The small inconsistencies in behavior, the unchanging background, the lack of personal interaction, these were what triggered our suspicions. As CTO, my first initiative was implementing biometric verification for all executive communications. No matter how advanced technology becomes, there must always be a way to verify that humans are still human. Sometimes, the most sophisticated security systems can be defeated by something as simple as dust on a car or a janitor who pays attention. And sometimes, the dead can speak louder than the living, especially when they've left the right breadcrumbs for someone to follow. In Harris's case, his final message led to justice, not just for him, but for a company that nearly lost its soul to greed and technology gone wrong. The board members were sentenced to 12 to 15 years each for fraud, embezzlement, and mishandling of human remains. Deep Realm Technologies lost its license and faced multiple lawsuits for ethical violations. As for me, I still stay late sometimes to chat with Hector during his cleaning rounds. After all, you never know what secrets might be hiding in plain sight, or what seemingly unimportant details might unravel an elaborate deception. Because in an age where seeing is no longer believing, the truth often lies in the smallest inconsistencies: a dusty car, an unusual server connection, or a CEO who wears the same suit in every meeting for 6 months straight.